interesting thing on in Canada with Best Buy in Canada with buying refurbished stuff and how their marketplace works. The youth program marketplace, not to be confused with the Best Buy marketplace, did a story, and I'll be playing a few cuts from that, live cuts.
Did this get on the market?
People are selling these devices hoping that customers aren't going to notice.
This is not a product that I would call refurbished.
Big mistake, big mistake.
Shocking revelations on your marketplace. We're going undercover.
And here we go.
Testing one of the biggest names in consumer electronics, Best Buy.
This is definitely rolling.
Soon. But first, in summer 2019, Joanne Nixon and her partner, Richard Horst, check out bestbuy.ca for a new tablet.
She wanted something more than just her phone to use to go on the internet, so I was looking for an iPad as a birthday gift.
They land on a refurbished iPad Pro and like the $800 price tag.
As far as I was concerned, I was on a Best Buy website. At the time, I wasn't thinking this is a third-party seller.
They were shopping on Marketplace, which means it is from a third-party seller. Within months, Joanne and Richard run into some tech troubles.
So you'd go to turn it on and you'd get like nothing. You just get the plug sign come on the screen. And so I would hand it over to Richie and say, you know, work your magic. He would reboot it, give it back to me, and it would work for a couple of days, and then it would do that again.
They try to get a refund, but the 90-day warranty period is over. They get no help from seller. How do you feel?
We were pretty pissed off and
Yeah, annoyed. I mean,
annoyed, yeah.
It's not a fortune, but $800, you pay that for a product that you think will last a couple of years at least. Then if it breaks down quickly, somebody's going to do something about it. But nobody was willing to do that.
We're on the case. We start shopping on Best Buy's site for phones, tablets, and laptops. And we buy 4 of each from 12 different third-party sellers. Then we send them to tech experts to get the 411 and find out if they're in top condition and if they actually work. That's where we bring in Alex Sebastian. His company refurbishes and sells phones and tablets.
Here we are. Hi, Alex.
Hi, Asha. Nice to meet you. Come on in.
Nice to see you.
Alex has been in the business for 7 years and knows the tech market well. What are the advantages of buying refurbished tech?
I mean, there's really 2. The first one is price. A 2-year-old phone does everything that you or I would want it to do, and it can be half the price or less. And the second one is the environmental component. If you're buying a used phone, we're not mining those rare earth minerals again. We're avoiding all of that.
I totally get that.
Extending the life of these devices is generally seen as a good thing. But Alex, who sells on Best Buy's site, says the refurbished market has some bad actors.
Would you say some...
All bad actors. All right, let's go to our next cut. Her at a really cheap computer store where I don't like those little computer stores. And you'll see in the back, well, we can't hear it, but if you watch this clip, you'll see the TP link. Funny how it's called TP link. It's for like a firewall or something like that.
Maz Kamani is tackling our laptop haul. His family has been repairing computers for more than 2 decades, and they've seen it all. What's the craziest laptop repair that you've had to do?
There's a lot of them, actually. So one that comes off the top of my head is a customer threw his laptop through the gap of the elevator.
What?
6 stories straight down.
And he was able to retrieve it?
He got it back, and he brought it in, and we were luckily able to get it working again.
You're like the laptop whisperer.
I appreciate that.
How will you test these laptops?
We're going to see if the specifications match what's internal to the computer, see if the physical condition of the computer is good, and just run a basic test to make sure that all the parts are in working order.
While they start
And then let's go to another cut here where the guy, a guy struggles to get, he's got a busted phone here. Let's play that cut.
Best Buy, they wouldn't take it, so I went home again. A shipping label emailed to me from the seller, and I had to take it to a Pure Labor Depot
He reaches out to us with his concerns. So do many of you. One viewer says she thought she was buying directly from Best Buy.
Best Buy has cornered the market and is so big, they can get away with anything.
Another says her refurbished headphones stopped working after just a few months.
Best Buy will do nothing to help me.
And another complains about a refurbished phone with a bad battery.
I am quite sure they don't check them over before they sell them.
Remember, these are products that Best Buy says might actually be more reliable than brand new.
Sure, especially if you're relying on third parties that kind of don't follow the standards. But here's this guy that demos, the reporter here from CBC in Canada.
Receives that device and they look at the back, and for some reason they're very fixated on that. I think they certainly have a leg to stand on to say this is not in a condition that's consistent with refurbished.
And what about the XR?
So the XR, it has quite a bit more markings on the screen, which I think pretty clearly landed in a condition that is not refurbished.
But check out the website. There's no mention of scratches on the listing. The final conclusion about our phones?
I don't think that they had a proper cosmetic grading done before they were put up for sale.
Turns out 2 of our 4 phones don't meet his standard. Will the rest of our tech pass the test?
What did you find with the tablets?
So in this case, the tablets all pass in terms of their cosmetic condition.
What about functionality?
And we'll wait till that after the break. This is TechBeat on East European Music.
Pro and the Galaxy Tab A.
So tell me what's wrong with the iPad Pro.
The screen itself is a very good quality screen, but the workmanship when it was replaced is problematic. And the best way to demonstrate that is to press right here.
I hear it.
And what's happened here is the glue that bonds the screen to the frame hasn't been properly applied, and that's why you're hearing that movement. If this iPad is dropped because it's not firmly in that frame, there is a risk over time that the screen could actually just come out of the body of the iPad.
That doesn't sound safe.
Not safe, not a good user experience either, no.
No.
On to the larger Samsung Galaxy Tab.
So this is a CBC in Canada. They are doing not a documentary. This is their, I think this is their business. I've seen it before. It's just been a while. A show called Marketplace where they focus on enterprise consumer. I think is kind of where they go investigative, and it focuses on Best Buy's Marketplace. Kind of a no pun intended there with their stuff here. But they go to Best Buy. They go buy what they basically bought 6 items from their marketplace on their website on ebay.ca, and they found a lot of problems. And this is the CBC people. They bought it for investigative purposes, and then they're taking it to local non-chain fixers, and this is what you heard is what they saw, and it's something that should not be sold. And here they go to Best Buy at the Canadian storefront to kind of try to return them, and this is what they get.
Hidden cameras are rolling.
Okay, thank you.
Unfortunately, because it's a third-party seller, we can't do anything in store at store level.
Okay.
It has to be done through their return policy.
Marketplace, we won't be able to take it in store because it is not Best Buy inventory. Whenever you're doing the order, it means that this third-party vendor, we don't own them. They're just renting space on our website. Best I can do for you is send it out back to the vendor.
And what do you know? We get the same warning as Joanne and Richard.
Do I need to not be buying stuff from Marketplace anymore?
I wouldn't. I tell customers next time, just, filter it for Best Buy only and then buy brand new from Best Buy. Then you're getting what you're actually seeing on the website rather than, like I said, a refurbished them from a company that fixed something but didn't fix it properly, and then they're sending it out to people for cheaper, right?
Homework on these brands who are selling products. If you can't find anything on the brands, that's a huge red flag. If there's one review where somebody has had an extremely hard time, take that very seriously.
Search broadly. Try to bring in as many different marketplaces and providers as possible. Be aware that what being promised to is not always going to be delivered.
And if you already purchased a device,
You can potentially download a manual, and the manual sometimes shows you that there are self-checks that you can do. With computers that don't have anything, what I would suggest is you can download free software. Those tests usually illustrate how strong or how effective the computer is.
and always make sure you know how long your return and warranty periods last. Look out for shipping and restocking fees too, in case you have to send something back.
And they actually suggested to look at open boxes, which are they're supposed to check that in the store. So that was one thing that they recommend. Let's take some calls right now. We got another Brandon on the line. Brandon, you're on TechBeat.
Hi,
I'm sorry, Josh. How are you, Josh?
Hi, I just have a question. I've been listening for a while. I just was curious what kind of brands or products that you recommend for your customers. I'll take your question out the dude.
All right, thank you, Josh. So what I recommend now is a mix. I'm a complete person that believes in interoperability, not favoring one or the other. Open standards, yes, when it warrants. So basically, what I use for my area is kind of the baseline. So I'm using Sophos as a firewall that comes in and out, and it's like the Microsoft what was it, the ISA, I forget the initial offhand. basically blocking and opening specific ports. Another thing I recommend is basically I use Netgear for switching. I believe they're still best in class for the value. It's not too expensive. Cisco routers have changed significantly, so I don't recommend them right now because it's not what I typically use. I recommend Dell servers right now. I have HPs in the other room. VMware, not a big fan of. But again, as you hear me explain stuff, I'm not recommending you to go completely free and open source or free in general, but some of them are better quality. I would certainly not recommend TP-Link. Um, funny how it's got TP in its name, which tells you the quality of it to be really direct. For voice over IP, I'm now recommending Cisco. I've never said nice things about Cisco, but now I'm kind of have to radically accept Cisco. I would not get Polycom. I think Polycoms are trash. I also would certainly not recommend getting the Asterisk hardware, which I think is now Sagamonia. They're a load of garbage, if you ask me. I don't like to tell people to just buy cheap unless you want to buy cheap. That's your thing. But if you want quality and things that work, and you're not constantly replacing hardware and software just for the sake of doing it, that's my recommendation. 5:27 is the time. Let's take one more call. I can't identify who the caller is, but I think this will be my last call for the day. Hello, you're on TechBeat.
Hi, my business I work for a hospital, and we typically buy our equipment through Amazon. We had an IT firm coming in and saying that we, between using Amazon and Newegg, that this is not, they don't recommend the quality or the products. They are telling us to go to CDW, but everything's expensive, and we can't afford it. What's your advice?
My advice is to probably take their advice. If you are like some scrappy,
you can't afford it.
You can't afford it. Well, I'm sorry because you need to have for that kind of business. You can't be just buying off the shelf stuff. And if you're a hospital, as you said, you're just asking for trouble.
They make a lot of money on people. We can't afford it.
Well, I'm sorry that you feel that way. 'Cause I think that you need to be responsible for your people, and if you're just running your stuff like buying stuff like from a store bought stuff, that's basically what Amazon and Newegg is. It's basically store bought stuff.
They make a lot of money on people. We can't afford it.
Well, what else can I say?
You're no good.
Oh, I'm no good. All right. Well, sorry that you
You're no.
All right. Thank you for that call. Even though apparently he thinks I'm telling you the truth. That's the end of TechBeat today. Apologies for delay on the schedule today. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you have an informative weekend and stay informed. Stay open. Communicate clearly, please. It will help society. I'm Stephen Clickford. Have a great weekend. commercial programming, technically speaking, sponsored programming here. But this is a little shelving. This is, I think, half a, I don't know, I think it's about 8 inches long here, but this is where I put a lot of my hard drives. I'm going to shelve them up over here so that these scenes can work on my edit and production bay. Like I said, there's a lot of equipment, and especially like miniature devices are probably the worst offenders than big stuff. That's just my opinion and how I view tech here. On TechBeat here on BCOP990, there is a huge delay. I'm watching me doing an audio test because we almost lost audio for a moment, and that was about 2.5 minutes ago, so there is a big delay right there, but we are recording this program and it should be in sync. We'll try to work on those technical difficulties at some point here. We got 2 more blocks of news here on technology. We are unable to take your calls due to some technical gaffes here. It's much apologies. We're not getting a lot of ratings here, so it's probably not inherently a bad thing here. A new Aruba switch is designed to work in the data centers. In case you did not listen to the story, they're licensing some software from a crew of former Cisco stars. This is the Aruba branded, formerly known as Hewlett Packard's ProCurve equipment. They're calling themselves MPLS in their name because the founders are the initials of their first names, if I get that right. These were former Cisco engineers. This HPE Aruba switch can be a layer 2-3 data center box with 3.2 terabytes of switching, 48 ports of basic 10, 25 gigabits, huge, and 6 4100 gigabit Ethernet ports. They are getting the software from Panasonic. John Chambers is the executive of this, followed by 4 members, like the aforementioned PLS people, the names of their first initials of their first names. They're also introducing this. So this will be available for $45,000, a bargain. It will include a stateful firewall, zero trust, segmentation telemetry, and DDoS security features. Another feature that this Aruba switch will have is network management tools. Where the heck is it? It will run the Aruba Fabric Composer software that will promises to simplify network provisioning across the company's CX switches that automate operations across a wide variety of virtualized, hyper-converged, and HP compute and storage environments. So that's the story on that little guy. There's no pictures of this product just yet. We have some sound from a talk on I don't know what channel it was on. I'm trying to get that in a moment. The Mac Yak podcast. Can we call up the Mac Yak podcast to see their opinions on Apple's allegedly new hardware, which I think there's some stuff that I took out of that. If we can get that up to kind of fill up some time out. We might get callers. I don't know. We're having some telephone problems at this time of this airing. And then we gotta remind our listeners we do have a traffic and weather break in just 4 minutes away. So just stand by. Let's get some the Mac Yak. I did have it on the board, did I? Forgive me if it's not on our rundown here. Nope, you put C. Nope, you spelled that wrong again. It's Mac Yak. Stand by. We're just trying to get we're trying to get some audio on here, and sometimes it's, we're not gonna be able to. Oh, you're gonna have to do it. Yeah, get it. All right, just stand by a moment. Maybe we'll play at the end of the show. Play some highlights from that podcast right now because it just doesn't want to work with me right now. That everything? Did we get? Oh, we had some other things we were going to talk about today, and I don't have them on me. With regards to Apple getting really, for all intents and purposes, if you're a creative professional right now and you're using Intel-based Macs, you're gonna you're probably doing this on your own, and I don't have a problem with that. But in terms of would I go to Windows or would I go to Linux, I probably would go to either and then kind of go between multiple operating systems. I don't want to get into the wee details of that because that is discussed a lot with vintage air quote people. And oh yes, Facebook, thank you for messaging that to me, my PA here. Facebook is changing their names, I think, or allegedly. Let's there were some stories on that. There's where's the news here? There I go. Thank you for getting that copy up there. So Facebook is looking at changing their name of the company, but yet there is so many problems, and there's a lot of opinions on here. There's a report out here that Facebook, and remember, Facebook is corporate name is all caps. Facebook is going to change its name later this month in order to, so this is confirmed, to change its attention to build the metaverse, whatever a metaverse is. The social media company's rebranding, according to the report from The Verge, would put Facebook app under the same umbrella as WhatsApp, Instagram, Oculus, and other services that Facebook owns. Get the purported move coincides by scrutiny by the U.S. government over its reported politically driven businesses and practices. Another whistleblower has said that she found blatant attempts by foreign national governments to abuse our platform on scales that misled their own citizenry, according to another whistleblower. The report of the new Facebook company name is tightly held secret within the company. Even company leaders are not privy to the information, but it's possible that the name could reflect with its recently announced Horizon project. They're also working with smart glasses with Ray-Ban. Facebook is working with Project Aria that would be more capable for smart glasses to find lost things. Earlier this year, Mark Zuckerberg said that Facebook would effectively transition from a social media company to a metaverse company. He had recently announced they would hire 10,000 workers in Europe to build his vision, I would say. So, this is from The Independent. So anyhow, new name, but nothing, folks, to see here. Move along. We're gonna take a break and we'll get to traffic and weather together every 15 minutes here on BCOP 90. Stand by, and we'll get the Mac commentary in a moment. So we'll just take a break. This is TechBeat. The following program does not reflect the management or staff of this station. The editorial opinions and conjectures do not reflect BCOP's editorial standards. Therefore, the news division cannot be held liable for anything that is said on this program. Likewise, the opinions and advice should not be the primary opinion, and BCOP News Radio or the program cannot be held liable for any mistake heard by the listeners of this program. Thank you. And now, from BCOP 990 Copenhagen, TechBeat, your weekly outlook on an objective view of the technology business and technical questions from you. And now here's your host, Stephen Clickford, from Clickford Media Services.
I mean, it's fine for pretty much everything that I do, but I have to work with software that other people use. You know what I mean? I have to get files from people, and they might have built them on newer version of the software that I don't have, and I can't install because I don't have the latest version of the OS on the computer. That's the sort of thing that I get frustrated by. So I blame other people.
Every WWDC, a group of Macs just kind of falls off, right? Or older Macs.
Yeah.
Just
Hey,
get that
your
1
alerts
year
are on.
older, and it is tough. I guess my newest Mac right now, well, aside from my M1, that is really used, my boyfriend uses that one more, is my 2017 iMac. And I've upgraded the CPU and the RAM and
This
the
is
hard
the
drive in there,
Macintosh
the M.2
librarian.
drive, and
I recommend you
trying to
check
make
out
it last
YouTube.
as long as possible. Like, it's tempting to get one of the new, M1 Maxes to replace it, but maybe it's a little bit of a sunk cost fallacy where, like, I have put so much time and energy into upgrading this older hardware that to me, it feels like I'm more connected to that hardware than if I were to just go out and buy the latest and greatest thing off the shelf.
I really enjoyed
maybe
that video, by the way.
The lower
the iMac
third
upgrading
says
video?
I'll go. That's the other thing. We'll close up on.
And this is why you do not give your Mac a face. You get emotionally attached. You can upgrade.
I don't have anything here newer than 2014. I've got lots and lots and lots of Macs here that I'm using all the time, but nothing newer than 2014 in the house.
My newest one is a MacBook Pro 2017. Everything else is older than that.
I don't trust
Other than the
anything
M1
prior to
I'm on
2016.
and the one I just bought, this is the newest one I have. And it's a 2014.
With each event, I'm tempted to buy something new.
Yeah. I came
And
close to
I've
getting
been
a new
keeping up with the
Mini.
iPhones. Yeah.
This is guy's the only one I know that buys a 2014 MacBook Air along with a 2021 M1 in the same week. It doesn't make any sense.
Turn into a web page.
They talk about this
I
for
can't.
quite a while.
I can't risk opening up a file where something might look slightly.
Can we get another cut in there? We're approaching, was it 3:53 here? Let's get the other cut up.
Another operating system, you can't have that same copy of Backblaze backing up. So you have to have Backblaze running on one and not running on the other. So the minute you flick over to the other one, you're not being backed up. Or if you have it switched on, then the computer is just going to get as confused as anything because, complete mess with the two.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm
Justin.
Like,
I think that worked better when your computer was more of a single-use appliance, right? Back when you didn't really have to worry about getting online, getting to the net, getting connected to all these different accounts. You just would boot up your OS 9, OS 8 instance and get into Photoshop. But now you have all these, iCloud accounts and different email accounts and chat.
You don't have to use iCloud. There's no requirement, at least prior to OS 11. Just saying, putting that out there. No one's telling you have to use it.
But you have to sync up with essentially two machines now and two different OS instances.
Yeah, valid point.
Can be
And
troublesome.
Christian has a point as well. Virtualization is great, and I would use it for Unreal Tournament or older version of Photoshop. But the problem is,
recommend virtualization.
it's great if you have a lot of cores to spare. Graphics wise, you suffer. Like,
exactly.
nothing else in a virtual environment. So
yeah, because virtual
Yeah,
machines
sucks.
don't use graphics. GPUs very easy.
yeah, but my dad.
All right. Just a CNBC column as I'm wrapping up on today's program. There's a column on CNBC.com in their Make It section of a Facebook name change could be a great idea or a terrible one. Just look at Google, Apple, and more. For almost 2 decades, Facebook's name has been virtually synonymous with social media. That may not be so good for the tech behemoth anymore. Facebook is reportedly to change its corporate name change, according to a Tuesday evening report from The Verge. That rebranding would include creation of a new parent company. Facebook and its social media apps would become subsidiaries. Facebook would not comment to the reports the CNBC's make it. Zuckerberg and Facebook are facing more scrutiny than ever as the companies spread misinformation and its potential towards very younger people. Facebook wouldn't be the first business to change its name or its rebrand in times of a crisis. Google becomes Alphabet. If Facebook's reported plans sound familiar, it's because Google did the exact thing in 2015, forming its parent company, Alphabet, which really made no difference. Google's public rationale was to help empathize Google's non-search business interests like artificial intelligence, autonomous cars, and venture capital investing. But now Google has been subject to antitrust inquiries. Apple's small but significant name change. This is kind of goes back to what I was just playing out earlier. Even tiny changes can have huge ramifications. In 2007, Apple dropped its second word name of its company the same year it released its first iPhone. In fact, to be honest with you, they actually introduced the name change when the iPhone was announced. The name was a reflection of Apple's increased focus in its other product lines. The stock price has increased by 1,200% in the past decade, giving Apple a valuation of $2.4 trillion. Can you help us pay our debt? And the company's best-selling device, the iPhone. Oh, Dunkin' Drops Donuts. Yes, I haven't. And Dunkin' Donuts is a New England chain, as you guys know. It's our institution that decided to screw themselves. Kentucky Forget Fried, Philip Morris, and yeah, there's so many name changes here. I could recommend that on the in the notes here on